COVID-19 has drastically changed how we think about the workplace. For employers, bringing employees safely back into the office is no easy feat. But some companies say tracking employees' location using AI could help with social distancing and contact tracing. One of those companies is Cameo, which builds image detection software for existing surveillance cameras.
What you need for a camera is to be able to understand where people are in three-dimensional space, even though it's just a 2D image.
Cameo says its software can track both how close employees get to one another and if they're wearing a mask. Other companies like Estimote are trying to do something similar, but with wearable technology.
Location tracking, as far as understanding where you are, there's where you are in terms of your specific location, and then there's where are the devices and how are they communicating with each other?
When an employee wearing one of Estimote's devices gets too close to another employee's device, the two wearables ping each other over an LTE signal. That interaction is recorded on a map that an employer is able to track. Both companies say the goal of this technology isn't to single out individual employees on the spot. Rather, it's meant to optimize the workspace for safety purposes.
You can see, we have a problem as people are transitioning in shifts at 8 a.m. So let's make sure that we put cones out with tape markers on the floor, or sometimes even people put hallway monitors for the period that people are changing shifts, or they stagger shifts. So it's meant to be a management tool to tell you where your problems are and where you need to make changes.
Another survey by Macworld magazine says 1 out of 5 companies have checked employee computer files, voice or electronic mail.
Tracking employees in the workplace is nothing new. Companies have been legally allowed to check employees' work emails and phone calls for decades. But privacy experts worry tracking employees' physical locations with this kind of technology isn't the best solution for a post-COVID-19 workplace.
You can't blame an employer for being concerned about social distancing, but having wall-to-wall video cameras is a terrible answer. It's not anonymous. The employer can't do anything about 2 employees not social distancing unless it knows who they are.
Estimote and Cameo, though, insist that their tracking technologies keep employees' data private, and that ultimately it's up to the employers to ensure that the technology isn't abused.
We don't collect any information about the user other than maybe something the company gives us to make a context connection to the device. So that could just be like an employee ID. And from our perspective, we have no idea what or who that is.
The person that looks at the video, if they recognize you just like they would review any other security video, then yes, there's that way that you could recognize, but in the data itself, there's no personally identifiable information.
Still, privacy advocates argue that the employees themselves could be just as effective rather than monitoring them with this kind of technology.
It's just this reflexive habit of American employers that assume they've got to come down from the top with monitoring control instead of working with the employees to solve the problem.